Hello everyone, I'm Twinkle Sharma, helping you to crack Microsoft certification. So today our topic is Microsoft Entra ID of Azure 900 Fundamentals. So, what is Microsoft Entra ID? Microsoft Entra ID, formerly Azure Active Directory or Azure AD, is a Microsoft cloud-based identity and access management service IAM. Now rebranded under the Microsoft Entra product family, it helps organizations secure access to resources for employees, partners, and customers across cloud, on premises, and hybrid environments. So, Entra ID is a new name of Azure Active Directory. It is used to authenticate and authorize users and devices, provide single sign on SSO to apps. Microsoft 365 SaaS software as a service custom enforce multi-factor authentication MFA manage conditional access policies integrate with on-premises Active Directory provide identity governance lifecycle entitlement and access reviews. Microsoft Entra ID equal to Azure Active Directory rebranded as key capabilities. So the feature is single sign-on, SSO, single in once to access multiple apps. Multi-factor authentication is MFA, extra security via phone app biometrics. Conditional access, control access based on location, device risk. Self-service password reset lets user reset their own password securely. Device management enroll and manage Windows, Mac OS, iOS, Android devices. Device management is this. So, privileged identity management, just in time admin access and auditing, app integration, thousands of SaaS apps supported Google and Salesforce, etc. Then we have the Microsoft Entra family overview. Entra ID, formerly Azure Active Directory, Core Identity and Access Management. Entra ID Governance, Automate and Audit Process Lifecycle. Entra Verified ID, Decentralized Identity and Credentials. Entra Permissions Management, Cloud Infrastructure Entitlement Management, CIEM. Entra Workload ID, Secure Identities of for apps, services, and containers. What's changed? Azure Active Directory changed to Microsoft Entra ID. Azure Active Directory business to customer to Microsoft Entra External ID. Azure AD Premium P1 and P2 converted to Microsoft Entra ID P1 P2. Who, who uses Microsoft Entra ID? IT administrator. Administrators can use Microsoft Entra ID to control access to applications and resources based on their business requirements. App developers can use Microsoft Entra ID to provide a standards-based approach for adding functionality to applications that they build, such as adding SSO functionality to an app and enabling an app to work with a user's existing credentials. Users can manage their identities, or can change the accesses and take maintenance actions like self-service password reset. Online service subscribers, Microsoft 365, Microsoft Office 365, Azure and Microsoft Dynamics CRM online subscribers are already using Microsoft Entra ID to authenticate into their account. Then is information synchronized? Yes, a managed data is configured to perform a one-way synchronization from Microsoft Entra ID to Microsoft Entra domain services. You can create resources directly in the managed domain, but they are not synchronized back to Microsoft Entra ID. In a hybrid environment with an on-premises ADDS environment, Microsoft Entra Connect synchronizes identity information with Microsoft Entra ID, which is then synchronized to the managed domain. So, this is the image for the managed domain, the virtual network, automatic background sync to your managed domain. So here is we have the on-premises Active Directory, sync users, group password, Microsoft Entra Connect Sync, Microsoft Entra ID tenant. Then we have the automatic background sync to your managed domain. Then Azure authentication method. For the longest time, security and convenience seem to be at odds with each other. New authentication solutions provide both security and the level compared to the convenience, right? Or we can also say that the Azure supports a variety of authentication methods to securely validate users' identities before granting access to resources. Now we have the Azure authentication methods. Azure supports a variety of authentication methods to securely validate users' identities before granted access to resources. These methods are a part of Microsoft Entra ID, formerly Azure Active Directory, and support both single factor and multi-factor authentication. So, for the longest time, security and convenience seems to be at odds with each other. New authentication solutions provide both security and convenience. The following diagram shows the security level compared to the convenience. Notice passwordless authentication is less or high security and high convenience, while password on their own are low or less security but high convenience. This is the diagram for this. High security, low security, convenient, inconvenient. The high security passwordless authentication. Here the password plus two-factor authentication and convenient this. So inconvenient and low security is the passwords. But is single sign-on enables user to sign in once and access multiple apps and services. Okay, single sign-on enables a user to sign in one and use that credentials to access multiple resources and applications from different providers. For SSO to work, the different applications and providers must trust the initial authenticator. Can be integrated with Microsoft 365 or SaaS software as a service apps, Salesforce, ServiceNow, etc. Custom line of business apps. Then we have the multi-factor authentication. Multi-factor authentication is the process of prompting a user for an extra form or a factor of identification during the sign-in process. MFA helps protect against a password compromise in situations where the password was compromised but the second factor wasn't. Think about how you sign in website, email, or online services. After entering your username and password, have you ever needed to enter a code that was sent to your phone? If so, you have used multi-factor authentication to sign in. So it requires two more of the following. Some you know password, something you have phone hardware token, some you are biometric. So the common second factors is Microsoft Authenticator app push or code, then SMS or phone call. FIDO to security keys like YubiKey, auth, hardware, software tokens. Passwordless authentication. No password required, relies on stronger method. Microsoft Authenticator, phone sign-in, approve sign-in directly via app. Windows Hello for Business, biometric or PIN tied to device. FIDO 2 security keys, hardware-based sign-in, USB, NFC, Bluetooth. So more secure and phishing resident. Then we have the Microsoft Authenticator app. The Microsoft Authenticator app is a free mobile application that provides secure multi-factor authentication for Microsoft Entra ID, formerly Azure AD or Active Directory, right? And other services. It enhances account security by requiring a second form of verification beyond just a password. So you can also allow this by FIDO security keys and the Authenticator app do this. What is the Microsoft Authenticator app? It is used to do two-factor authentication, 2FA, MFA, passwordless sign-in, approving push notification for login, generating time-based one-time password TOTP, and available for iOS and Android devices. Whereas FIDO 2 security keys. FIDO Fast Identity Online Alliance helps to promote open authentication standards and reduce the use of passwords as a form of authentication. FIDO2 is the latest standard that incorporates the web app standard. So, we can also say that the Alliance helps to promote the open authentication standards and reduce to use a password as a form of authentication. FIDO2 is the latest standard that incorporates the web authentication standard, right? Then FIDO2 security keys are an unphishable standards-based passwordless authentication method that can come in any form factor. Fast Identity Online FIDO is an open standard for passwordless authentication. FIDO allows users and organizations to leverage the standard to sign into their resources without a username or password by using a external security key or a platform key built into a device. Users can register and then select a FIDO2 security key at the sign-in interface as the main means of authentication. This FIDO2 security keys are typically USB devices but could also use Bluetooth or NFC with a hardware device that handles the authentications. The security of an account is increased as there's no password that could be exposed or guessed. Okay, then we have the Azure External Identities. Azure External Identities are now a part of Microsoft Entra External ID is a set of features in Microsoft Entra ID, formerly Azure AD, that allows organizations to securely collaborate with users outside their organizations, such as partners, contractors, suppliers, or customers. They enable you to provide secure access to your apps and resources to users who are not a part of your internal directory without needing to manage separate user accounts for them. Then these are the external identities, business to business collaborations. The partner, vendor, suppliers, and other collaborators are this invitation or self service sign up, the Microsoft Entra external ID, your tenant. Then we have the Azure AD B2C, business to customer. Consumers of your published apps sign up or sign in, user flows, custom policies. Azure AD B2C, your Azure AD B2C tenant is there. So the core features, Microsoft Entra B2B, business to business, invite external users to your tenant. External users use their own credentials, example, Google, Microsoft, or federated ID. Then access governed by conditional access, multi-factor authentication, and RBAC. So supports email, one-time passcode, federation with other IDPs. So custom branding and policies also. Microsoft Entra External ID for customers, formerly Azure AD B2C. Identity platforms for customer facing apps. Support sign in via social account, Google, Facebook, email, or local accounts. Highly customizable user flows and branding, ideal for e-commerce, software as a service apps, portals, etc. Then we have the Azure conditional access, which we will cover in our next video. Thank you for today. Bye bye.